This is an official emergency broadcast issued by the Department of Public Safety at 9:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Residents in affected areas are instructed to remain indoors until further notice. Lock all interior doors. Close and cover all reflective surfaces. This includes mirrors, glass panels, polished metal, and even standing water. If you find a room in your home that you don't recognize, especially one that contains a large, tall mirror, do not enter. We repeat, do not enter. This is not a drill. At approximately 8:47 p.m. tonight, emergency services began receiving calls from residents claiming to have discovered unfamiliar rooms in their homes. These rooms appeared suddenly, behind closet doors that once led to storage rooms, in basements that had never been fully explored, or at the end of hallways that never seemed so long before. Each of these rooms had one thing in common: a mirror, often full length, often isolated in the center or fixed to the opposite wall, always slightly fogged, as if recently breathed in. Witnesses report strange phenomena associated with these mirrors. The most common, delayed reflections. Individuals in front of the mirror would see themselves blinking seconds later. They would yawn and their reflection would smile. They would remain still and their reflection would tilt their head. Some say the mirror vibrates gently, as if humming at an inaudible frequency. Others say they feel watched the moment they enter the room, even before they look into the glass. One man reported that his reflection remained in the mirror even after he walked away. His wife asked who he was talking to. At 8:59 p.m., a teenage girl was heard screaming inside her home. When police arrived, they found an unfamiliar door in her bedroom. Behind her, a small room, empty except for a fogged-up mirror. No trace of the girl was found, no fingerprints, no struggle. Just a faint, warm handprint on the other side of the glass. At 9:01 p.m., 2 officers entered a home in the Willow Heights neighborhood after neighbors reported strange buzzing sounds and shadows behind the curtains. Body cameras flashed intermittent footage before fading to black. The last clear audio captured was Officer Bennett whispering, "It's not us. It's not us anymore." The footage then dissolved into static. They have not been located. Do not attempt to interact with any reflection that is not mimicking your movements exactly. If your reflection blinks out of sync, smiles when you are not, or does not follow your actions, leave the area immediately. Don't scream. Don't run. Reflections can learn. Sudden movements seem to draw them closer. It is now believed that these mirrors are not ordinary reflective surfaces. They are portals, and something has come through them. At this time, we cannot confirm the nature or origin of these anomalies. All efforts to cover or destroy the mirrors have resulted in unexplained disappearances, disorienting sounds, or lost time. Some residents report conversations emerging from the mirrors when left alone in the room. Voices that sound almost, but not quite, like their own. If you hear your voice coming from behind the mirror, do not answer it. Whatever is in there wants your attention. That's how it starts. If you see someone in the mirror who looks like you, but is not exactly who you are, leave the room immediately and close the door. If the person behind the mirror is wearing different clothes, is standing closer than you, or begins moving toward the glass on their own, you are no longer safe. We believe that these entities imitate their hosts to gain trust or to replace them. If you didn't place the mirror in that room, don't look at it, don't touch it, don't acknowledge it. Reflections are no longer passive. They're watching, waiting, learning, and they don't like to be ignored. Don't interact with mirrors, and if you feel a presence behind you as you leave the room, don't turn. New information. The anomaly has progressed. New reports indicate that mirrors are now active, even when covered or moved to isolated spaces. We are advising all residents to avoid any room where they feel observed, regardless of visible mirrors. If your reflection has stopped mimicking you, or you notice movement inside a mirror while you're not in the room, evacuate the home and report your location. We repeat, evacuate and do not look in the mirror again. At 9:34 p.m., a civilian transmission was intercepted from a survivor in Sector 9. I broke it. I tried to break the mirror, but it bled. It didn't shatter. It screamed. It knew my name. He was found moments later outside his residence, his eyes wide, pupils dilated, and completely unresponsive. A full neurological exam revealed no brain activity, but his lips were still moving, silently repeating one phrase, "Let me back in." Authorities believe he may have been replaced. At 9:46 p.m., several homes in nearby Franklin Heights reported activity in mirrorless mirrors. One mother described her son standing in front of a blank wall as if staring at something. When she asked what he was doing, he replied, "Talking to me." She pulled him away, but his reflection did not go away. She now claims there are two versions of her son in the house, and she doesn't know which one is real. Both talk back. Both remember things only he would know. One cries at night. The other just stares. Both insist the other is the imposter. We urge you, if you suspect a loved one has been replaced, do not confront them directly. These entities adapt. They blend in. Confrontation only speeds up their assimilation. At 10:01 p.m., all emergency responders were instructed to wear masks and avoid eye contact with reflective surfaces in the field. Several officers had already muted the broadcast midstream, replacing it with audio containing only low, barely intelligible whispers. The transcripts contain chilling snippets. "We know what you fear. You are not alone in your body. It's warmer behind the glass." In rare cases, mirrors no longer show reflections. Instead, they show scenes. Some resemble the room they're in, but subtly misrepresented. Furniture missing, lighting different, movement in the shadows. A family reported seeing a version of their home in the mirror where they slept, and something slowly crawling across the ceiling. At 11:14 p.m., Dr. Karen Eldridge, the government's lead analyst on visual perception anomalies, delivered a chilling message before the live feed from her lab faded to black. "They're not showing us ourselves. They're showing us what they need us to become." Her lab was found empty. Her ID badge and clothes were folded neatly on the floor in front of the main research mirror. A note was scrawled on the glass inside. "You've stared too long. You have to understand, these aren't just mirrors. They're portals. They copy, corrupt, and then take. What they give back isn't you. This is not over. This is evolving. We ask that all civilians remain calm and do not trust their own senses. If a room feels colder than usual, if your shadow lingers after you step away, if your voice echoes differently, if your reflection begins to breathe on its own, do not look directly at him." The reflections have escaped containment. At 5:10 a.m., multiple reports confirmed that reflections were seen moving independently of their original hosts. Witnesses say they emerged from the mirrors, leaving behind cold glass and empty silence. Some were seen watching their original host sleep. Others stood behind them during phone calls. Most just stared until you blinked. You won't notice what's changed, just that something has. Your kitchen feels wrong. The hallway feels longer. The picture frame was crooked this morning. Now it's straight. Your reflection is wearing the same clothes, but they don't fit anymore. At 12:43 a.m., the last confirmed transmission from a military commando unit cut off mid-sentence. The final audio recording wasn't a voice, but breathing. Not through a microphone, through glass. We believe the mirrors are now transmitting. They're not tools, they're eyes, and they've been watching you for longer than you realize. If your screens start flickering, if faces start blurring, if you hear a knocking from inside the walls, don't respond. At 12:59 a.m., emergency crews discovered a suburban home full of reflections, all frozen in time. Reflections cooking, sitting, crying. The real family was never found. At 1:14 p.m., the last security system was triggered. Transmissions from the tower began to fade, but the signal remained. We are no longer in control. The anomaly has nullified the light. We do not know how it spreads. We only know that it wants to be seen. If your reflection smiles when you are not there, if you hear static when you are alone, if the glass seems darker than normal, step away. Don't look back. Don't say your name out loud. Names have power. That's how it finds you. At 1:30, the survivors began describing mirror dreams, perfect replicas of their lives, but in reverse. Wrong. Time runs backwards. Pets talk. Rain falls upwards. And always in the corner of the dream, a mirror, covered in fog, waiting to dissipate. They say that when it finally dissipates, you never wake up again. This will be our last message. Our image has already changed. We don't remember who spoke first. We are losing ourselves. Even now, I can see my reflection looking over my shoulder. It moves when I don't move. It whispers what I am about to say. And it is smiling. We advise all listeners, cover all reflective surfaces. Turn off all lights. Forget what your face looks like. If you can no longer remember your reflection, it means you are free. If you can still see it clearly, it is not over for you yet. Come back, come back, come back. You left the bathroom light on.